The Q&A session is starting now after the morning break. August 26th, 2014. The first part has been with the now Aptavani 7 AV7.pdf. This is available in English at dadashri.org and also in German. As we see our Gnani, very briefly. Shilpa Gajar, question. Jayantinal Taylor, Navsari. Neeta Ganjaria, Mother City. Yes. Vipin Desai. Shanta Parmar, Gandhinagar. Shilpa Gajar. Jai Sachidanand. My question has got some. Is Alamban and Avlamban? Is there a difference between support and the supporting material? You see? You see, and Alamban for the support and the supporting material is one and the same thing. Alamban, Avlamban. Dependency. A while ago you had asked them, how do you like it? And I want to give an experience yesterday. Everybody was fighting for the fan. Somebody said, put the fan here, put the fan here. And then Shilpa would normally say that you should come early, but it never happened. She was have so much equanimity, and then inside the sound come. You left the sweetness of file 2, and why are you asking for this fan? Why? I was equanimitous in this way. I wanted to show it. Very good. Next one. Then Nita D. Ganjaria. You left the pleasure of your husband, then why are you looking for this little fan in here? She says. It's very hot in Ahmedabad. You can imagine 10,000 people in 90-degree weather. What is the difference between spandan, vibrations, and subatomic particles? You see, with the lake, the water in the lake is subatomic particles, and to throw a stone in the lake is vibrations, is spandan. Throw a stone, the initial vibration starts with a thought. The moment you think about something, but when you agree that he's like that only, then that vibration goes to the other person, then he gets an effect, and then he sends it back, and so then the love between the two breaks. So then asars happen. Therefore, this is the effect of vibrations only. How does the Gnani Purush see all of this? Somebody's home is burning. How does the Gnani go there to help, or just continues to know? See, he looks at what A.M. Patel does. If A.M. Patel goes to help the person whose home is burning, or does not go to help, the Karuna, the Gnani continues to see what A.M. Patel is doing. Next one. For 2 days, and there is a lot of bliss in samayik, but yesterday's samayik, there was a little bit of suffocation in yesterday's samayik, because then I was wondering, why did I have this kind of thoughts about the Gnanis? And today there is a lot of attraction for the Gnani, but what happened previously, and I'm shaking, how can I become free from it? The top level of Gnani, merit karma has to be there in order to get Gnani and to meet the Gnani. But why did I have negative thoughts about the Gnani? For get rid of the Gnani, just be aware of those why and then wash it off. Yeah, now it has already happened. Even if you have eaten the best food in a gold plate, a plate of gold, next day it becomes, you know what it becomes after you have eaten, right? It goes all toilet, you see. But But you have to make the nischay that you should never be there in the future only. Pratyakhyan is the most important here. And because, if you've got a very nice husband and you still kind of bicker and say, then you got, even if you bicker, then you say, why did I get him? You see, then it is nonsense. What is it? It's a combination of duality only. The good and the bad is always together in the world of duality. That is all. Next one, Bipin Desai. Sailesh Modi. Jai Sachidanand Deepak Bhai. Million namaskars to you. When we do Vidhi Vachan Pados and Samayik etc., and then we do Arti etc., is it Parinati or Swaparinati? Are you doing it or is it Bipin Bhai is doing it? If you see Bipin Bhai doing it, then we are in Swaparinati. It is not in a yes. If whatever Murchid mind does, whatever Uve does is per parinam, but you are seeing that and therefore that is swaparinam. It is the result of the self only. The seer is always in the activity of the seeing, the doer is in the activity of doing only. By singing pados or whatever he is reading or whatever he is charan vidhi etc. Next one. Next is Bipin Desai. What is subatomic? Pudgal means subatomic particle plus belief. I have heard in satsang that Pudgal means subatomic particles plus belief. So I want to know this specifically. The original Parmanu subatomic particles are pure. But when in the subatomic Parmanus, the Sarong believes that I am doing it, they're mine. I am doing it, that becomes vibhav of the self. And then the subatomic particles also become subvibhavik, they get charged, and that is called prayogsha, and then they get ready, and then they are discharging as mishrasa, and so then they are called vibhavik subatomic parmanus, and that is why vibhavik parmanus are called pudgal. In other words, pudgal means that which was filled will empty through anger, deceit, greed, or pride, or moh, or sexuality, you see. And so this is because the original subatomic particles do not have anger, deceit, pride, and greed. Its nature is to fill and empty. But you see, originally they have form, they have got touch, they have taste, and they have roop, rang, sparsh, and gandh, smell. You see. But because they become vibhavik, that get touched, they tainted with anger, greed, deceit, and pride, and then because of this, then the subatomic particles get to the point where they form a body wherein for hunger, circulation, everything aside, the entire thing is called pudgal. You see, purangal and non-self complex, and when filling happens. When filling happens, because belief gets wrong, spoiled, then the subatomic particles inside, because the nature of the subatomic particles is such that they become like whatever is believed. In other words, when you put a mirror, then whatever you look in the mirror, it makes you appear that it gives the reflection of the soul only. So our own photograph appears. So if with this intentions. So at the subtle level, the subatomic particles become that way, and they get charged, and then it gives its effect in the next life. You see, and so then one is either a mohi or a krodhi or a mani. He is full of illusion, who is an angry person, or he is a deceitful person, etc. But these are all the effects of subatomic particles that arose due to the original wrong belief that this is happening to me. When you and I. So when belief and subatomic particles come together, so then when the belief as well as subatomic particles are joined together, do you think that if somebody is insulting you, then say somebody insults you, then you have so many thoughts, and so every time you think negatively that I'll take care of him, then and then I'll get back to him, etc. This is because those are all intentions, and then those come out in form. You see, And so, in other words, if he does this, then this is how it happens. If he does this, this is how it happens. And then you say that I don't want to say anything, and yet why is it happening? That is because the subatomic particles are now giving the result, you see. Initially, you are heating the whole ball up, and after even you take away the fire, also the heated ball then gives its own heat, you see. And so the heated ball is giving its own heat, but you initially heated them up by believing that I'm away, this is happening to me, I'm doing it. You are supposed to see the subatomic particles by being the knower and seer. It is easier to see the subatomic particles, but you see, when you see the subatomic particles, then the beliefs will go away, you see. But by nature, the subatomic particles are pregnant. They tend to get pregnant with much more than what was the original intent. Initially, initially you might have said, no, I don't want to tell a lie. But even then, why do you tell a lie? This is because you see there is an underlying intent that you see there's. So that is why the second time around says, oh Dada Bhagwan, grant me the energy never to tell a lie ever again. And so we are totally correcting our residual opinions, which is the reason why. But all the subatomic particles are giving their results and then going. How can we become free from beliefs? Yes, the belief is the first one to go, and then we first, most important, we have the right belief that Ich bin reine Seele, and then the whole life, in this whole life, the subatomic particles will go away, you see. But the original blunder is that Ich bin Uwe is gone. Now the mistakes in discharge that I am Uwe, this is happening to me, they will be resolved with the five agnas only, and that is all double A, double B, and the evidences of flawlessness, you see, and pratikraman. So then it will become empty completely. Yesterday you had said that the anger, pride, deceit, and greed go away in 3 years, and that means that it takes for 3 years. If we keep on changing our beliefs, the subatomic particles go away. So do the beliefs first go away and then the subatomic particles go away? Why is that? Therefore, he says, if we say you are a thief, then the other person will say you are a thief 5 times, like echoes. But so in other words, the moment you say it, you have to be ready that even after you remove your belief, the subatomic particles will continue to react, because they are like the echoes, you see, their vibrations. Because if they have a 300 feet pipeline from the tank, then even if you open up the tank, to change the belief means to stop the cork that is coming, more water coming in. Whatever is in the knowledge, old knowledge and old conduct, it will still continue to flow. You see, the old ignorance will still continue to flow, and then ultimately, when it is all flown out, then the new beliefs will take over, you see, completely. Last life, if you were a laborer in the last life, then if you see a mason building bricks only, then he says it is good work. But today, then he becomes a mason, and then later on he says, no, I want to become the own. And then I want to become a contractor, because this I don't want to build houses. I want to become a contractor. But he knows only how to lay the bricks from the last life. So in the whole life, there is a dichotomy. There is a difference between his old conduct versus the new knowledge. You see, in the new life, he'll be a contractor. So, the last life's belief is the conduct in this life. You see, the last life, and therefore you have a home, a wife, a child, a business, this body, etc., this prakruti, this kind of prakruti. This is the result of the belief of past life. Now, as we settle them through the five agnas, then with the exception of the pure soul, I don't want anything, then next life there will be liberation. Is because so in order to get rid of the belief that you do not need timing, whereas to get rid of the subatomic particles you need timing. You see, it is through the subatomic particles that unfold in front of you through SCE that then when whatever, if it comes according to your desires and happens according to your desires, then it is on the basis of merit karma. And if it does not happen according to your desires, it is on the basis of sin karma unfolding. And therefore there is no reason to have any garva, and no reason to have any kind of ego that I am doing it or this is happening. But if you still believe, when that ego gets the experience that because I was excessively egoistic, that I got the wrong beating, and therefore he moves away from his ego. Either he can reverse from his ego, or he can reverse through satsang. When he gets the satsang of the Gnan Vidhi and the Gnan, then he says is no, then he can reverse back. So Once the understanding changes, the good nimit coming. This once the understanding changes, then the wrong beliefs will not be there. With the right understanding, the wrong subatomic particles will go. Last question: when is it possible that subatomic particles are finished, but the belief continues? Yes, it may be the yes. Then again, supposing you have a very heavy knot of greed, then he wants to finish this. Even as the body leaves, the subatomic particles are gone, but he carries his beliefs in the next life. He will be greedy from the time he is born, and this is exactly how it's happening. People, subatomic particle is the end result, of the karma is over for this life, that was created in the past life. The subatomic particles are discharging completely, but his belief doesn't change. His anger, greed, deceit, and pride do not change, and that is the one that needs to change, and it is carried forward in the next life, and it becomes very heavy in the next life. So the subatomic particles go away in the form of karma. They finished in this life, but his kashais carry over into the next life, and that is the causal body of kashais. The belief is carried forward in the next life. But ours is the opposite. Now our Mahatmas say that I don't want anything, and with that belief, and the subatomic particles will finish depending upon the lifespan karma. Excellent Q&A just happened. Next question. Jai Sachidanand Deepak bhai. Sailesh Modi and Rekha Simandar City. When it is different in speech and different in conduct, even if we do not have it, we find that there is no alignment in what is said versus what is done in conduct. Please grant me the energy. For that, you have to do 9 columns. You have to speak the 9 columns, and you have to speak the 5th column even more with reference to the speech, and then never have any repulsion or negativity towards anything, and then make her do a lot of pratikraman. Are you not doing it? Are you? Is improved by 5 or 10%? Yes, that is the way. You are on the right path, because when you do not want to hurt anyone through your intentions, through repulsion, and it happens, then you have to do pratikraman for it. I want to ask something else. You are a Gnani Purush, you are a why you have received the state, and even that, why are you not accepting the fact that you are a Gnani Purush? What will I lose? What will I gain by accepting or rejecting it? Ask Deepak bhai. Yes. Yes. You have received so much that you should be jumping around, but you are so still. Other people will fly all over the place. But no, Dada has granted such magnificent blessing to Deepak that it is why it is the way it is. Next one. Saishlesh Modi, Richmond, Virginia. Question. Yesterday you gave excellent clarity on Vinay and Avinay, but the question is humility and the lack of humility, absolute humility. But I'm supposing on my image somebody talks negatively about you or anyone else. What is the result of that? Supposing what happens? What's the result if you are the nimit in the process? Best thing for you is to be silent and not say much, and move away. But you don't discuss our Akram Vignan or our Gnani with anyone else. If they say you are wrong, then you should not get into conflict with that other person, But if you go into too much discussion, then arguments will happen that I am right, you are wrong, and then you are dividing yourself. Can we wash it off with pratikraman? Supposing yes. Yes, you can do prayer for the other person. Oh Dada Bhagwan, oh absolute self within him, grant him the energy to let him see it as it is, and let him have some peace and harmony in his left hand. Do that prayer for him and then move away, but do not miss your own. When his understanding changes, he will know that this is the right path. But we already have the experience that we are on the right path. We should not get off our own path. Yes, we should not have any repulsion or scorn towards him, but that is all. But otherwise, if you get into a fighting mode, then you are in the wrong place altogether. Do you understand? These are just adjustments to be made, Yes, sir. We go to India because we get the better, but don't kind of go talk about it. Say, don't stop me from going there. I get my best over there, but because people do not like their egos to be crushed or disturbed. That is where they get upset. But you should just receive them all. They are all correct from the way they see it. Whenever a new product comes, all the old product users will always say negative things about the new product. Even if it is better, even if you are giving it free to the world, people will still find faults with it. But once they use the product as a sample, then say, well, yes, it is good, but then they'll still say my old product is better than this, you see. And then slowly they accept this, slowly they are less oppositional, and then they are more accepting, and then they adopt it and they say this is the correct, and then they go away. Then they forget the old one, and then they are on the main path. This is how it is. This is the nature, this is the way of the world accepts something new. It doesn't accept something new right away. They enter into it slowly. You continue to give such excellent understanding, but later on some of these kashais happen. And then you recognize that you just understand that it is millet that is growing. You just wash it off, do pratikraman and get out it from the old stuff. When I first came here for the first time, this is excellent. I am from Richmond, Virginia, but there's excellent facilities over here. Next one, Rekha and Raju Bhai Patel are the next two. Deepak Bhai, Jai Sachidanand. There are two Bipin Desais. I don't know whether you have given you have my question or the question of the other Bipin Desai. If you say that, if you don't, my question is not in your hands, then I can just say it meant orally. You are already saying so. I will finish it. Dada has said that when you throw one stone, then 100 stones will come back at you. When you throw one flower, 100 flowers will come to you. Is is this a network of occult science, or is the grace of Gnani Purush Dadashri? Whatever you say, it is. This is the result of vitaragata, the absolutely detached state. This is the Akram Vignan. This is the miracle of all miracles, and Dadashri and Akram Vignan is the miracle of all miracles. We got somebody like Deepak Bhai, we got somebody like Niruma. This is amazing. And then Deepak Bhai gave you a very special siddhi. Okay, but what did but I know I want to know more about this siddhi that was. He did not give me. He did not give me a specific siddhi. It is not with the sense of doership. It just happened. Those are words only. He never had any sense of doership. He was the nimit is never the doer, says Deepak Bhai. So he was not the nimit. He didn't give it me. He was one of the evidences. The evidences just happened. He never had the sense that I am giving it to me. If I give you, then I will become free. I will empty. I will empty what if I am giving you. But no. It is happening through a nimitic doership only. You see. Okay, say so. This is just our own stuff is coming back to you. That is all. And so we have just become nimits, just like an. If you, I want to openly open up my negative feelings that had happened with reference to Dimple Bhai. I want to ask for his forgiveness. It is, yeah, just go ahead. Yesterday it happened. Why is it that my Dimple is not throwing away mic? And so then today when he asked for the microphone again, then I became upset again when Dimple took over the mic. But when you give again when Deepak Bhai is giving you such a beautiful answer, then why are you still holding? Why why are you hanging on to the microphone? You see, and this is so. So no, but then I did not have the. But now I'm asking for the forgiveness. You see, negativities that arose with Dimple because he was hanging on to the mic. I'm very sorry for it. Please, oh Dada, please forgive me for this kind of negativities. You see. Next one is Rekha Jai Sachidanand. Then Raju Bhai Patel. Aptavani 3, page 80. Question. In the and it's in the this that is the last in the Kshitra Kshetra. I do not understand the word bhajan. Bhajan means division. In the Kshitra Kshetra, the soul resides according to the divisions. You see now, a pot is the division, and the water is the soul. In the same way, it is means I am the vessel of infinite. Bhajan means vessel. I am the vessel of infinite. Is there a shape? Yes, there is a shape in of a soul. If you brought vegetables in a bag, what will you call a bag? You see, you brought 2 kilos. You will not be able to hold 2 kilograms of potatoes, but you see, the content is the more critical thing. But there is no body in Siddha Kshetra, but depending upon the division, depending upon the last, the shape of the last body, it decreases by 1/3, and then it sits in the same shape in the Siddha Kshetra without in the bodiless state. If this enlightenment, absolute enlightenment happens in standing position, then he will be in the standing position in Siddha Kshetra. In this, supposing you can make different kinds of ice cubes depending upon the nature of the tray of the ice cube. It is round, then you'll have round ice cubes. If it is square, you'll have square ice cubes. You see, so that is the bhajan. You see, that is depending upon the space. When you take out the ice, then you'll have the same shapes of ice. If it is either a square isis or round isis or cube isis or half moon shape isis. And so whatever was the last body before absolute enlightenment, before entering into Sit Kshetra, that is the same. Isn't there a change in the akar or bhajan? Is one and the same? Akar means shape, and bhajan means the vessel. You see. So so you see. So bhajan means supposing. So the atma is the shape of the size of the human body, and 1/3 of it is over there. You see, if he is lying down, he'll be lying down in the kshetra, etc. Jai Sachidanand. Next one, Rajubhai Patel, and then Jagdish. All right, speak up. It is. I already have the answer, but again I'll ask. What is the joint between lok alok? What is the difference between swapar and lokalok? Lok means there are 6 eternal elements in lok, and there are only the self only in alok, only space only. And for one, swapar means you remain in the self only, and par means uva or nada. You see, and the line of demarcation of the two is there. When once one is absolutely aware, but Siddha Kshetra is where there is only the it is and Siddha Kshetra is like the line of demarcation too, where on this side there is only the space, and on this side there is universe, and at that junction you are continuously residing without a body, and but he sees he has to when you are in the awareness of the pure soul of the self only, continuously uninterrupted as the self only, all day continuously, then that soul cannot remain. That soul will automatically rise to the junction of the lok and the alok. The lok meaning the universe, and the alok meaning the space where there is only space only. And in our space, and uh, this is the soul in this is body resides. If there is, supposing you fill round bottles, if you fill a bottle with a whole bunch of marbles, round marbles, so then when you add water, will it not enter? Even if you filled it up completely, between the three marbles there is space, you see. And when you take out all the things, so you will have almost half a bottle of water, you see. Because of those marbles, it looked as if the bottle was filled with totally filled with water. However, in the same way, in this body, in between the subatomic particles, in between the subatomic particles is where, in that space, in the space between three subatomic particles, that is where that is where the soul resides, and in the Kshidra Kshetra there is no subatomic particles, and therefore so then two-third volume remains. You see, it shrinks by one-third, and it resides there exactly as two-thirds only, the original size. You see, I mean, when we from at the currently at the conviction level, and then it becomes at the experience level. Well, no, it's not like that. And yes, it's once you will have the complete experience of the soul, and then you and then you have absolute enlightenment, and that is when you have the Gnayak state only, the pure knower state only, and that is also existing in the Siddha Kshetra now. And all the habits of mind, speech, and body and its nature. I am the knower of the mind, speech, and body's habits and its nature. These are all parinam, results, effects from of causes of previous life, and if we continue to see them, then they will all vanish and they'll go away. How can I stop? They are hurting me. Yeah, they're not. But you see, if you see them as gnay, that this is happening to uva, this is happening to nada, this is their habits of nada, habits of katya, then you are the knower of it only. Then they will not become obstructing to you slowly. Some people eat very slowly, and some people eat very fast. You see, and so some people open up the doors very fast and then they get out very fast. Some people will open the door very slowly and then so these are all the quality, the habits of the prakruti. Then there are habits of the speech, there are habits of, there are some people who are very use their words over and over again. They try to kind of butter up their words. It is that so this is the nature of the habits of the mind, speech, and body, and by knowing them, by knowing them, the energy of knowing increasing, and the others fall away in discharge. Now that we have become Mahatmas, uh, if somebody insults us, what kind of, if they praise Jagdish Bhai, when the 10 people kind of praise Jagdish, then you should say at least 10 people are praising, but maybe then will be others who will also criticize you and slander you and say hurtfully. But you see, the real Jagruti is that both are pure souls, and this a file is saying to file, you just should have just a subatomic particle. If you say you're very good, you should say, then you should say, I still have a lot of inner weakness. You see, I know them. I can see many of my own mistakes. Whatever you see is only at the surface. When somebody really praise you, that time you can tell them, I have a lot of errors within me. But then it says, but never say that, what you believe I am much higher than that, then you will really fall. Next one, three more announced. Jai Sach Priti Soni. In the samayik of sexuality, before I was doing it after getting absorbed in it, but this time I was able to remain separate. I sat as a pure soul, and kept on seeing the sexuality of file 1, and where there was sticky, I asked for forgiveness, and then I was able to keep it separate from me, that this doesn't belong to me. But when at the time when it was happening very much, then I was not able to say, is this good? Yes, it's good. And then but now I want to do every day. When it happens, I want to clear it off. Is it okay? I thought it was very easy. Once you separate, then it is. Yes, you should have the intent of repentance, but you should not be regretting too much, you see. And you should have the right kind of awareness, and then find out, was it because of moh, for lalach, of illusory attachment, a sense of security, or the intense greed. Moh, for lalach are the reasons why one continues to go deeper into sex. Like before I now when I think about positive, when I have it positive about them, when I start writing think positive things about people, then it has got very good results. Next one. So moh, hoof and lalach are the three main reasons why sexuality continues. Moh, illusory attachment, hoof, a sense of security, wanting security, and lalach is the intense desire to have pleasure. Was an interesting answer there. Next, three more being announced. And then three more announced. Bharti Cheda, Jai Sachidanand Deepak Bhai, Pujyashri. On Sunday, Satsang, Dimple Bhai. Okay, whenever we look at anything, it is our own inner state that is changing. When we look at the pure soul of the other person, are we seeing our own pure soul? No, 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 no. But you don't. The point is that you don't have to go there. Even while you are here, you can see it. Even if you are in Australia, you can see the pure soul of somebody in England. That is how it is. You see. And even so, you are not leaving your space. You are not leaving your original space in order to see. You don't have to physically go there in order to see the soul of the other person. You see. And you see, and if I'm sitting here and I know that Kishore Bhai is asking the questions and you are pure soul, I don't need to come near you to see your pure soul. While sitting here, I can see your pure soul, and I can see your relative asking the question. Next one, Jai Sachidanand. And the first day you said that, because when you said that when men, with the brothers go out, they only see two things, whereas when the women go in, they just say, and the brothers see only 7 colors, and the women, if they go, they'll see 42 colors. If they enter a room, they will see so many details. Women have the ability to see so many things. They have the energy to do this, but it's a very positive energy. Yes, this is fantastic inner energy, but in positive, but where the error arises because of kashais. You see, when they are told wrong, then they immediately get upset. What do you mean? She was wearing a yellow sari. No, she was wearing green sari. No, she was wearing yellow sari, etc. You see. But but when these abilities are there, then of course one goes into the high. If Anju is seeing it, then why are you taking it over? If Anju has got good qualities, why are you saying, enjoying the sweet taste of doership? It is somebody else's talk only. Keep Anju separate. You see, keep Anju separate from you. And this is the most critical thing, and this someday will cause problems. You see, the same Anju who is very smart and bright, someday she will screw up, will she not? And so therefore then I can on samayik, and because the Sri Prakruti, because she never could get any man in a previous life, but in this life, because she got man in this life, and therefore she is constantly looking for because is it for man that she wants to do? Why does she? What you really need to do is but that, that I want to help for Mahatmas, but you don't want to go and serve because you want to get sweet pride. You want to do seva for the Mahatmas or change the intentions for the service. You are not going there to get some pride validation. You're going there to serve. You see, and so keep her separate, because she just admitted that I usually serve because I want to get noticed. I go there. You see, what is your goal? Why are you serving? Are you serving because you want to be noticed by others, or are you serving because you truly want to serve? You see, initially I used to like it, and then I knew that she was an here. But you see, but when I did the samayik, then I realized that these are subatomic particles, and then I was separate. And yes, so then whatever you showed me. Then next is that's correct. You're correct, says Deepak Bhai. Now Vilas ATPL. I have already written the question. Dadashri says that you have received the soul, attain the soul, but anger, greed, dissent, and pride and sexuality, those are the weakness, prevent you from attaining the experience of the soul. When somebody insults Bhagabai, he really becomes protective when he really burns the other person too, and he fights with the other person. So, is it because of excess subatomic particles of this pride that this is happening, or is it because of a heavy karma force, or what is going on? Dada says that every circumstance comes to make you God. Then what is missing within me? Is am I not understanding the science of Ignan, or is the Prajna Shakti is weak, or I want to get out of it because I counter attack the other person. So what should I do? Your Purusharth is weak. You have understand, but you see your understanding is such that you are sensitive. The ego is sensitive, and therefore so. But then you really need to go into, no matter what happens, I do not want to hurt anyone. Even if he insults me, I do not want to hurt the other person. And then you have to make him do pratikraman, you see. And if he becomes angry once, then make him sit down and make him do pratikraman for 1 hour. No matter what kind of insult you get, you should not. You should recognize that it was 5,000 given the last 5,000, 5,000 we just returned. So credit it. Do not give it back. Do not give. Is it the ego and intellect that is acting? It is the ego. The ego is become very sensitive. The ego is still hungry for pride. You see, the ego has still got the knot of pride. Therefore, the energy of ignorance is very, very powerful there. That is where you need to increase. You need to be in your opposition. Is aren't you ashamed? Why are you doing this? Aren't you ashamed that you are hurting? He says, I am very repentant, but I go into suffering because this. Why are you doing this? Later on, yes, you have to be repentant and ask for energies for 1 hour from Gnani Purush Dadashri. Dada, Dada Bhagwan, grant me the energy never to do it again. Oh Dada Bhagwan, let me never do it because I want to become free from my karma. Grant me the energies to become free from my karma, Dada. Next one, Arti Cheda. How can I become free from the fear of insult? And then when I get insulted at the fear of insult, that means you should recognize, how can I become free? Recognize, who does this insult and disrespect belong to you or to Nada Uwe? But you see, the right and the wrong is all relative. It is correct from the relative viewpoint, but it is settled with equanimity. But why was I insulted? Why was I told that I am wrong? The ego gets burst up because there is a sense that I am right, because I am superior. What I know is better than the other person. That is the knot of pride only, you see. So find out who it belongs to, and as your understanding increases, and as you increase the positive, and then find out that the disease is in me only, not because of the other person. You see, when you have that awareness is my own fault, when you accept that it is 100% my fault, the other person is absolutely flawless, then only you will be able to do the true pratikraman and reverse from it. And then you can say, and then reverse from it. This is exactly been written in page 6 of the Pratikraman book, and also in Dadavani, every page this is this. So if 5 agnas, double A, double B, and the evidences of the flawlessness of the other person have to be presented. He is separate, Shuddhatma Bhagwan is separate, Chandu is separate, etc. Separate it for the other person and do such samayiks. You see, do it for at least for 15 minutes. And the more the intellect shows the negative of the other person, do not listen to the intellect at all. No, no. With this talk, wherever you go, you will find people who will insult you and will you. So you see, because the stock remains within you, you cannot run away. Wherever you go, you will be insulted. You see. So you cannot run away from the situations where you are insulted. Come home to the blissful one that you are, and then you will. By being the self, you can be in 5 agnas and understand double A, double B, and being the self, you will be able to apply the evidences of flawlessness, and you will not find him at fault at all. And therefore, this is the strong nischay that is needed. But the ego cannot stand it. But wherever you go, the same problem is going to be there for you. Then what are you going to do? How many different places will you go to? Therefore, the only answer, there is no location, no human being is not, until you become free from your junk, nobody will give you any kind of pleasure, you see. It is your own filth stock that is bothering you. It is the cancer within you only. You see. It is, if I get sick in Bombay, and if I blame Bombay, then Bombay is not the problem. If I have low immunity, I will fall sick in Ahmedabad only, you see. So increase your immunity, become immune to these kashais, you see, that are actually within you. Understand and remain separate from them, and do VVPS, Vidhi Vanchan Pratikraman Samayik. Vidhi Vanchan is reading of Dada, Pratikraman Samayik daily. And I still know that I will be hurting others. No. No, yes, yeah, But you see, but even if it shows you, the intellect will show you so much. But are these kashayas going away? Then you should recognize that you should tell buddhi to shut up. You should tell intellect to shut up. Read, you see, when you start reading, then follow what the other is showing you, rather than yes, yes, just whatever Dada is saying is 100%. What intellect is saying is wrong. Grant me the energies. Yes, the energy will be there. Yes, you will win one day. You see, one day you will win. Next one, when this three subatomic particles, the woman subatomic particles will go away. When deceit and greed go away, then only this three body will go. So what is discharging? But if but whatever is discharging, when it is discharging, I am not aware. So then will all of this will still remain pending in the next life? The Deepak Bhai says. Supposing you had to sign 20 papers, but you signed only 22 papers, then those that remain to be signed again with awareness, then they will come to you again, you see. But you're doing samayik, vidhi, satsang, shibir, etc. Much of the stock is decreasing, but your intentions are there that you do not want these temporary pleasures of sexuality. So overall, your bhavana is correct. So a lot of awareness will remain in the next life, but it will happen, and in the next life you will have a male body and you will attain moksha, but you do not want to become free from it. Okay, I have done the nishchay, the determination that I want to be in samayik for 1 hour, but you have to ask for the energies for it, and it will come to you. That is all. Next question. Let us do the vidhi, the samayik vidhi now. And let us talk about it. What shall we talk about? Says Deepak Bhai. Let us do the samayik. This is a very, very beautiful talk. There is a connection of man kashai only, pride. When desire arises, and when you get it according to the desire, what you get, then the ego arises, and then the pride becomes heavy, and it flies so heavy, it goes on the highest that it hurts other human beings, you see. It becomes arrogant. And when whatever you desire, it happens, then when you whatever you want is fed, then the ego becomes crazy. And when the ego becomes crazy, but 5 or 7 times it good, but one times when it gets spoiled, then you blame others. Then these people are not supporting me, and then there is immediately you start seeing mistakes of others. Whenever it happens according to your will, then there is increase in the juice of doership, and then I did it. And when it doesn't happen according to you, start blaming others. But when something good happens according to your will, it is due to your merit karma. And when it doesn't happen according to your will, then it is yours. It is the unfolding of your sin karma. So then you should not see the nimit at fault. So in both ways, we are actually sustaining a loss and missing our gnan. Therefore, the awareness should be such that it is all happening due to the results of scientific circumstances, and it is happening good, it is because of merit karma. If it is happening bad, it is because of sin karma of file number 1 of Uvenada. It is not, so that is where you really need to. There is no need to really exercise that I am the doer, I am successful, it is my ability, I am the perfect one, I am superior, etc. Such egos are not necessary. Such craziness of the ego is not necessary. When you are aware, the ego will not become crazy. But when bad things happen in the work, there'll be no reason to blame anyone in this. That, and then again you really no need to blame. So on both sides of the equation, we need to really be aware we need to be aware of the nature of the ego and how the ego can becomes crazy. When something good happens, automatically I did it will happen. When it gets spoiled, when you blame others, Vyavasthit is the doer. It is the result of SCE, and behind it all, it is the subtle merit karma in operation, or subtle sin karma in operation only. So we need to understand this discharge ego, and we really want to bring the discharge ego to the zero level in this manner of awareness. Even if people say, "Wow, Uwe, you did such a magnificent thing. Wow, Nada, what a beautiful thing you have done," then you should be aware that I am the pure soul only. They are saying this to Nada or Uwe. And if they say, Uwe, you really spoil it, you crazy guy, you spoil it. At that time, you should not get depressed. You dramatically, you might say that, oh yeah, You might say that, oh, I'm so sorry, but inside there is no depression or suffering that, oh man, I really messed it up, this is so bad, etc. You will be equanimitous, you will be balanced, you will be in the awareness that this is happening to the non-self complex. It's a vibhavic parinam, it is vibhavic, it is happening to Uve, the complex of Uve, not to me. So there is no sense of doership at all, and therefore the knowledge of SCE will remain. So this is applicable in both ways. When when it good happens, when people say, "Uve, you did very well at that time," there is the tasting of the sweet taste of doership, and when it spoils, then there is the automatic blaming of somebody or the other at a subtle level, and therefore you become upset, and all of these things need to be there. Therefore you are entering into the doership of willfulness or the doership of ego of doership, and you need to understand it and to set it through the Gnan that you are. You are the Gnan, you are not Uve. And in this way, the ego will not fly in crazy directions. It will, and it's the sweet, Garvara's sweet taste of doership will not arise, and suffering will not arise. Buddhi has the intellect, but the knowledge of intellect is the one that gets you into trouble, and that it makes you see the fault of others. We do not, and it really, and on the basis of that knowledge from the intellect, the ego gets fed and they get protected. You see, and in both ways, you are blaming other people. So there is no role of the intellect in all of these things. So, but the intellect keeps on feeding your own sense of inflated ego, saying that I'm superior, I know I'm better than her or him. But so whenever something happens according to the way you have wanted it, then the ego will fly high, and that is why, and it will automatically start finding the deficiencies of the other people. So to understand the nature of that intellect and that ego and remain extremely aware against it. And in this way, Dadashri says that when you know that the Vyavasthita is doer, then only you will have the increasing state of the experience of the self only, and then there is neither the garvaras nor the suffering. So only when you are perfectly aware that SC is the doer, that you will have the experience of the soul in its exactness. And for such a one, he will not have any kind of any obstructions, because the one who is not the doer, he becomes nothing can obstruct, because he is never willful in wanting to say have his way. If he has the slightest intention, the nature is there to fulfill all his intentions. Ego is the problem, ego is the antarai, ego is the obstruction, and in the absence of the ego, there is the nir antarai pad, the state of no obstructions, and all green signals will come to such a one. But right now, no matter what you do, by putting down other people, by creating storms of the intellect, by you are losing so many of your siddhis and your accomplishments. You are losing so many of your accomplishments and your abilities, the siddhi as a human being, so that you will even lose when you have become very willful. Then you will lose your right. You will lose your right to come back as a human being. But because we have received akram, you will continue to suffer. You will not become an animal, but your suffering will continue. But we need to understand the science behind it, and so we do not want to lose the beautiful energies and accomplished energies of our own human state. But you see, there is so much energy within every human being, but because of the ego intellect complex, you see the obstructions are created, and he loses all of those beautiful energies and siddhis. These are the siddhis that allow him to accomplish the work naturally, but it will not happen through willfulness, and it will not happen through doership and ego and intellect, and through the sweet taste of doership, etc. We need to get out of it slowly. We need to get out of it and come into exactness, and exactness is the state of the soul. And when it doesn't happen according to our will, then we have to ask to go into prayer, and then then understand that you are not able to see it from the viewpoint of the other person. Enter into syadvad syadvad, and enter into the inner energies of the penance only, and understand that what will happen only according to scientific circumstantial evidences. And the more the ego kind of leaves, the more the agnas will fit very beautifully, and there will be the sense that so now we are going deeper into the ego, understand the ego and the intellect, and we are trying to solve it through Gnan, five agnas, and the Purusharth of the self only. Everybody understand this thing? This is very critically important. This is very practical because this is applicable every day, because on the basis of service, on work or with others, you see, at office or in with colleagues, somewhere or the other you enter into doership, and on the basis of that doership, therefore, things don't happen according to the way you want to do it. And then, but with the right understanding, you will stop interfering, you will not have any kind of craziness of the ego or the intellect by finding faults with others, you see. But even if you take only one event in life and then find out, wow, who did it, who am I in it, who was the other person, who is the doer, and when you look at all the events in the past, you think this is the way it should happen, but when it never happened, did you? But in fact, it even happened better than our own viewpoint, right? Even happened better than. So that means it fractures our own intellect, because whatever we believe never happens. Everything happens according to evidences and circumstances only. We are not the doer. That is the illusion, and that illusion, that ignorance, so that I am the doer, has to go away even in discharge also. And so in every circumstance we have to look at it again and look at it and say, who did it, and how did he do, what were the evidence. Let us do a very deep sound, let us do the vidhi and then go deep into it. Let us do the vidhi now. Hey, oh Dada Bhagwan, the absolute self within me. Hey Sri Simandar Swami Prabhu, the Lord at Mahavidya, the fully enlightened one, with the exact applied awareness of the self, Shuddh Upyog, in worldly interactions, whatever has happened, the in activity that has happened, whether there has been success or failure, wherever interferences of ego were present, where intellect also interfered, where there was suffering of the doership, where others were seen at fault, where the agna of vyavasthit was missed. Let me now apply the agna of vyavasthit and this awareness of separation, and through this knowledge, gnan, let me look at those evidences again and bring them to the correct solution and see it in exactness, and grant me the energy to do such a samayik, my Lord. I surrender the mind, speech, and body, all illusions associated with my name, bhav karma, charge karma, dravya karma, subtle discharge karma, yellow glasses, no karma, gross discharge karma. O Dada Bhagwan, the Absolute Self within me, you are the manifest one within me, and it is unto your divine feet that I am surrendering them all. At your divine feet I am surrendering them all, my Lord. I am surrendering them all. Datma chum shuddhatma chum shuddhatma chum shuddhatma chum. Shuddhatma chum 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 Dhatma chum shuddhatma 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 chum Dhatma chum shuddhatma chum shuddhatma chum. Jai Sachidanand, Jai Sachidanand, just say Sachidanand. Go very deep into the samayik. Jai Sachidanand, Jai Sachidanand. And my highest namaskars to all of you who are trying to read this in English. Jai Sachidan. Jai Sachidan.